Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a fun layout for Nicole Jones 911 Designs, my DT spot, using all of those lovely printables. And before I get to the layout, let me just mention that this week, for the entire week, Nicole has a Black Friday sale going on where every digital print and all the printables in her shop are 50% off. And you can still use the code, like my code Moira10, Moira, M-O-I-R-A, all in caps, for an extra 10% off. So if you've been watching these videos for a couple of weeks and thinking, maybe I should try this one or that one, now's the time. And the other thing, of course, going on this weekend is a virtual crop. So there will be over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 5 blocks of 2 hours in a private Facebook group, 10 different challenges, and Nicole will be scrapping live for those 2-hour intervals. She had done a virtual crop in October where it was a full 12-hour day, but if you follow Nicole, you know she's broken her arm. My goodness me, poor woman. And she's in a cast, and however the doctors have told her, use your arm. So she really wanted to keep the crop going, but over a 3-day period in 5 blocks of 2 hours with 10 challenges. So if you're interested in that, pop on over to her website. So I will have everything linked below. The store, of course, where you can get the crop, it's $8. So it's definitely worth it if you have some time this weekend, and everything will stay in the group if you need to catch up and watch at a later time. So let's see. So I went back on this layout to 1989. So I wanted to give it a little bit, I guess, a little bit of a vintage feel, as the photo here, obviously pre-digital photos, is a little bit, sort of has a little bit of that 70s, 80s feel. So this lovely paper from the Marigold collection has got those peaches, but it's sort of a, I can't say grungy, but it's got a little bit, for sure, of a cream undertone, even in the brighter colors. They're a little bit more subdued. And I thought that was sort of perfect to use my 1/3, 2/3 design. I had this mint textured cardstock at the ready, and then just put a little coral, and this is from one of the Tracy Reed printable sort of cardstock sheets, I guess you would call it, in a lovely coral that is, a much darker tone than the fruit in the background paper. So I got that down, and then, as is my pattern, if I have 2 photos, I will generally put them askew. This time I just have the one. I still wanted to put it askew. I think that adds a little bit of interest to a page that is a little bit more symmetrical to begin with. Popped it up on foam, just double matting it with a narrow mat and then a wider mat in cardstock that matches this gorgeous darker teal in the back. Popped it up on foam. And then, as is my pattern, to fill in my little corner and my sides down here, I decided to do a little cluster here, and then around the photo, sort of just do one big cluster or 2 smaller clusters that I then sort of joined in the middle. And here is a case of where I am using the printables mainly as layering pieces to give some depth and interest in different heights and layers, as opposed to the actual icons. Like, this is not acting as a viewfinder, it's acting more as a circular element in the background, and the tabs are acting a little bit more like tabs here, I think, but over here on this side, just a little bit more as a lovely, lovely layer. So I used the 2-inch viewfinders here and down here. In this, I think, came from probably the Seasoned Spices, this from Cozy Cafe, and this from Seasoned Spices, or this might have come from the Turquoise viewfinders as well. So I put my viewfinders in, and then you see I popped this one up on foam, and both of these tabs here are popped up on foam. And as is my pattern, I love when I have like a circular element here and then a little bit straighter, my little nooks and crannies. You've heard me say this time and time and time again. So I put a lovely wood button here that I got from Chadney's shop. This is the order I did, I think, back in October. So these are some books. It was part of her back to school. And then did 1989, and I gave it the same little step so that it sort of followed a little bit the shape here. I thought that gave some fun little detail. Did that here. This viewfinder, half piece of viewfinder, is of course up on foam dots as well. This little die cut that I had in my basket, remember this, because this is what all this is about, of course, is just a very specific. This layout will go into my album. I've shown you part of that before, my sort of career album. And this goes back to when I was in the aircraft industry, where I spent 3 months, a little bit more than 3 months in Madrid, negotiating one of the largest contracts we had at that particular time. And it was pretty much a 24/7 thing through May, June, July. And I still remember the date. We actually signed that contract on the 3rd of August, 1989. So we, in the hotel that we were all staying, the entire negotiating crew, we also had a small sort of working type suite that we would use as an office when we were not actually meeting the customers. And this is just a photo of a regular working day, which was every day during that period of time. And I wanted to get that recorded because I do have several photos of the signing and that kind of thing in the album. And I just wanted to remind myself of the sort of office type setup that we made for ourselves during those 3 months. So that is what the photo's about, and that's what the journaling is about here. Couple more of those gorgeous wood buttons here, little puffy stickers, just some sort of, they would be plus signs or X's depending on how you put them, that I just added here. And then this fun little cluster, as I just love to do, is putting some rectangular pieces of paper ending at different spots, tucking a little viewfinder behind, and here I raised a camera in the sort of dark charcoal. It's a dark gray, not black, up here on foam dots to bring down the sort of darker color down into this cluster, and 2 more wood buttons. And then I went into my Nuvo drops, and I got one of my favorites, and I know I've had quite a few comments on it that you like it as well. So these are vintage drops, the Nuvo vintage drops. So they dry matte, a little glossy, I guess I would say, but they're certainly not crystal, or there's no glitter to them, or they're not very shiny. Just maybe a little tiny bit of a gloss, do more to the medium than anything else. And this one is Vanilla Milkshake, and I love it on all of the layouts that are sort of cream undertones. It's a perfect neutral for that. So I went into all of my little areas that were open, and I added some of those, and I just love it. I did just a teeny little bit of packaging technique here on the background. It's a little bit of a textured paper, so I thought it gave sort of an interesting little bit of texture, if you can see that, and added to a little bit of the vintage feel of the layout. So there you go. That is my Nicole Jones 911 Designs layout for this week. Again, don't forget to use my code if you'd like to pop on over to the shop, and it goes on for the rest of the week, 50% plus the 10% code that you can use on anything. And her classes, except for the virtual crop, are included in that 50% sale. The virtual crop is only $8, so there's no point on doing a 50% sale. It's only $8. So you can find, of course, all of that down below. And I put the links to the channels of my fellow teammates, just in case you want to pop on over and see what they might be up to. We don't post at the same time, we don't coordinate our postings, but I thought it would just be fun. You can go down to their channels, find the thumbnail or the title, and catch up on what they got up to in November. And I will see you again here very, very soon. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.